Hi, I'm Tammy Randolph, Director of Investor Development for the Cleveland Bradley Chamber of Commerce. And you've joined us for The Chamber Does What? Hi, thank you for joining me today. A little bit of chamber history is going to happen this morning because I have my old boss, former boss, nicer.
Former's a better
Former
word,
boss,
yeah.
Gary Farlow. He is the immediate past CEO and president of the chamber. Thank you for coming to Gary. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
Now, you retired in 2019,
Correct.
and you had been the chamber president for about 10 years.
Right.
But you had been the chamber probably, about closer to 15, 20 years?
Well, I was there for a total of 17 years. I started in 2002, November of 2002, and retired March of 2019. So.
And you
17.
started as the vice president of economic development. You were
Yeah.
in what Doug Barry does now.
Yeah, I was Doug before Doug.
There you go. Now, what are some of the things that you did when you were economic development? I know that something to do with the Industrial Development Board.
Yeah, back, when we started, we had, at that time, Bradley County and the city of Cleveland had two separate industrial development boards. And we had the Economic Development Council, which is a state-mandated organization that's supposed to kind of work with cities and counties, try to get them to work together to kind of build and sustain their economies. So to do that, we had industrial parks that were owned by the city or the county. Actually, I think they may have been owned jointly by the city and the county. But we were trying to get a little more streamlined process. So when we had industrial companies coming in to look at Cleveland, we didn't have to go to two different industrial boards to get things done. Industrial boards basically help manage the public industrial parks, and they also legally have to oversee things like tax incentives and industrial revenue bonds, all those things. So we basically took the two industrial boards and combined them into one. So we had a City of Cleveland Industrial Board, a Bradley County Industrial Board. We basically created a new organization called the Bradley Cleveland Industrial Development Board, and both city and county were equal partners in that. And then we also got the city and the county to deed the industrial park properties that they still had. There were a couple of public industrial parks, and then we were trying to find some new industrial parks and develop, like the one on the north end of the county, and then we'll get into some other stuff later. But anyhow, we combined those into one organization, which streamlined that process. Plus, we had the city and the county talking to each other and cooperating with each other, which was a good thing. And so it actually worked out pretty well. At that time, we had the industrial park on the north end up near the river, and that's where the Eastern Lighting Distribution Center went. And then there was more property up there, part of which was owned by the new industrial board, and then part by the Wright brothers family. That's where Vocker went when we got into that project.
That was one of the first big projects that the new IDB landed, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we had done some smaller stuff. Actually, it's called the Eastern Lighting Distribution Center. It's a GE-owned distribution center up there off of Exit 33, and that was in the previous industrial park. So. And then later on, I'm trying to remember when Vocker came in. They came at one point, and we worked with them for like 6 to 8 months, trying to find property, which we found, and that was the Wright brothers' property out on the north end. And then we went through about 6 or 8 months of studies and getting them all kinds of information. They're a huge power user, so we were having to work with TVA and the state and other agencies like that. And they decided not to do that project. So they ended up doing that back in Germany, back in Burghausen, where one of their plants was already located. And then they came back about a year later and said, we still want to get in the U.S., and we really like that site. Is it still available? So we started that process again, and I think it was around 2008 when they broke ground on the project. And at the time, that was, I think, the single largest private capital investment by an industry in the state of Tennessee. At the time, it was about $1 billion. By the time we started at $800 million, and by the time they broke ground, it was $1 billion. And then by the time they finished, it was $1.5 billion. And then since then, it's gone to over $2.5–3 billion. So with a B.
So just a tiny little thing on the side to
That's
work on.
one that's a kind of a career kind of project that you hardly ever see, but it was a lot of fun and interesting process to go through.
Now, you do have, like you said, you have 17 years that you're at the chamber, and that's a long time. So what are some of the other highlights?
Staff think it was forever, but
No, not at all. So what are some other highlights from your time at the chamber?
well, those are two of the biggest. Getting the industrial board forum, getting Bacher here, and then just when I took over as president after Jerry Bohannon retired, that was kind of I was a CEO of a previous chamber up in Greenville before I came here. But and I worked for a Chamber of Commerce up in Maryville, Blount County Chamber, which is very similar to the way we're set up here. So it was just a lot of fun to kind of get back into the chamber side of things. Most of my career has been spent as a city planner and then economic development guy. So I got to kind of branch out a little bit more and get in on the chamber side of things and the Visitors Bureau, working with Melissa and them on some projects like the Melissa. I mean, she's a dynamo.
Yes, she is.
If you want something done, give it to Melissa and she'll get it done. But working on the Cherokee Heritage Project up in Charleston was a really interesting project. She did, by far most of the work on that, but it was fun to kind of be around that project, watching that one go. And then just some of the other chamber programs we've done over the years. We did some education programs called Your Skills, Your Future. We did that for a few years, trying to get high school students interested in technical careers, not to steer them away from four-year colleges, but just to look at other careers that can pay very well and can be very satisfying careers. So,
And look where we are now.
and that's, and the Pi Center, thanks to Linda Cash and the county, that's a reality now. So, those are kind of fun projects to work on. We did some big fundraisers. We had the guy in the zoot suit that came in and helped us.
That big membership drive.
Did a big membership drive, and that was kind of fun. I think we went from 800 to 1,200 members, and I think we've dropped some there. I don't know what we are now. But,
We're a little under 800.
yeah. So
That's kind of our sweet spot.
Yeah, that seems to be a good medium for us. But so anyhow, so that's kind of some of the projects we've done. Working with Doug Berry, Doug and I used to be competitors. He was in Loudoun County when I was in Blount County, and I used to accuse him of keeping my prospects up in helicopters for hours when they were supposed to be coming to see me. So I had the opportunity to hire him, and I did, because I've always been told that don't be afraid to hire somebody smarter than you are, and then Doug is a very smart guy. So working with him's been a lot of fun, and kind of seeing what he's done, getting another industrial park sited and developed, and it's now almost full. So you're going to have to start looking for another one here one of these days. But so that was kind of fun. But it was really neat to be able to work with, the different organizations of the chamber. I mean, a lot of communities don't have a setup like we have here. I mean, Blount County had one that was similar to ours, but it's not just the Chamber of Commerce. It's the chamber's kind of an umbrella organization, but you also have the Bradley-Cleveland Industrial Development Board, which we provide staff support for and meeting space and all those things and manage their project. That's basically what Doug does. You've got the Visitors Bureau, which Melissa oversees that. And then we've got the Economic Development Council, which we talked about earlier, being kind of a state mandated organization to get communities to communicate with each other. And then we also provide staff support for Cleveland Associated Industries, or CAI, not to be confused with the CIA.
I know.
But
Got to watch those letters.
yeah, so being able to work in all those different areas made the job interesting, because you get to kind of dabble in things, and you hire good people to manage them.
Well, and it helps you get connected with other organizations in the community, because I know that you're very involved with the Thrive Partnership and with the Blue Way, and with, we partner with Boys and Girls Club in United Way. And so I think that helps with those connections that we're making as well.
Yeah, and that was a really interesting part of my career, was being able to do those things with the Thrive Regional Partnership. That started from scratch, and I was able to represent Bradley County on that. It's a Chattanooga. I think there are 8 counties involved in Thrive, which was a regional planning kind of organization. They got involved in educational stuff, economic development, tourism, and then what they call natural treasures or environmental stuff. So a lot of my city planning, training, and background helped to be part of that. But it was a really interesting process to go through, and being able to be part of creating regional partnerships, because before then you had Hamilton County, Bradley County, the counties in North Georgia, all those that kind of where Chattanooga's a regional center, and we're all sort of part of that economy. So it made sense to work together and create an organization where the communication streams were better, and they've done a phenomenal job kind of raising the bar for this region from an economic development standpoint and education and all these other initiatives that they've done. So that was a fascinating project to work on, and proud to be part of it for Bradley County.
That's great. What would you say if you had to describe the chamber, and when someone asks you, well, what does the chamber do? The chamber does what? But when someone says, well, what does the chamber do? What is the Chamber of Commerce for?
Yeah.
How would you describe what we do?
Yeah, it's confusing, I think, for the public, because when we talk about, well, the chamber's doing this or the chamber's doing that, and as I said, we're actually 4 organizations under one roof, so it's an umbrella type of organization. The chamber provides the staff support for all of that, but you've got the chamber that's their main task is to promote business in Bradley County, and we're a membership organization, so nonprofit membership organization. So the part of the role of the chamber is to help our members do better at what they do. So it's the business oriented side of things. And they get, we got involved with a lot of other things besides just business, because business gets involved in more things than just making money. They're part of the community. They're leadership people we had 4 boards to deal with. So we had to have good leadership on them. So the chamber's kind of the catalyst for a lot of stuff. And then you have with the Industrial Board, Economic Development Council, and Visitors Bureau, all of those kind of feed off of each other. Because when somebody's looking at coming to a community, they're not just looking for a house, they're looking for a community. They're looking for schools, they're looking for where they're going to work, what kind of lifestyle are they going to have. And so we get to get involved in a lot of those aspects of making this community what it is, working with local government and state government, federal government, all those kind of things. But it's kind of a one-stop shop for people that are looking to come here, either moving here as a new family that just got a job here, somebody that retired here and wants to kind of figure out what's going on in the community, bringing new industry in, creating jobs, all of those things. That's kind of what the chamber does through all of those individual organizations. And then the chamber itself, with the membership side of things, is basically to help our member businesses become better businesses. Lots of networking opportunities. There's training opportunities that we do from time to time. So it's just a good place to start if you don't know what's going on. I mean, we always used to say, and a lot of chambers will say this, it's the organization that makes things happen that everybody thinks just happen. Yeah. And it's just because we're not real visible sometimes. We might be behind the scenes, or we may be way out front doing things, but things get done. And it's not just the chamber itself. There's, we have to do things with volunteers. So all those 800 plus members, those are the people that we pick from to be leaders in the community. And a lot of them are already leaders, and we're drafting them into the process. So, and we've really been blessed with good leadership. If you look back through the past chairman of the chamber, it's pillars of the community that have been involved in those things. Same thing with the Industrial Board. We've got long-term members on that really understand the process. They understand why we're doing what we're doing. And they become our allies when we have to go to the local government for funds or cooperation or things like that. So it's a multifaceted organization that touches a lot of different lives.
And that explains how we've got to a century and celebrate our centennial gala.
Yeah.
Which you were there along with our other past presidents. Jerry Bohanna was there. Gene Stinson was there.
Yeah.
And the cornerstone of the chamber for 40 years, Bernadette Douglas.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it would not be, and Randy Morris and Sherry Cry. We had a lot of past employees there, and it was a great moment to celebrate with everybody, to celebrate the chamber and celebrate our community.
Yeah, it really was. So, but yeah, it's been a fun ride. But there's something else that came to mind a minute ago, and it just went right out of my head. That's what happens when you get old.
Now you're retired now.
And
so
you're
you have
retired, so yeah. So
Well, Gary, I appreciate you coming and telling a little bit about your time with the chamber and talk about the chamber with us. And I hope you continue to stick around and come. I keep telling you, we got another coffee you can come to.
I know, I need to
So
do
come.
that.
You do.
I like coffee.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you.
Thank you for watching and listening and joining and sharing. Make sure you come back next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.